Hey guys, my name is Christina.
My name is Brian, and welcome to What the Fuck Did I Just Watch?
Where every week we will be rolling a 26-face die that will determine the first letter of the movie we will watch this week.
The twist is that one of us, or both of us, have never seen the movie before.
So join us as we share our thoughts on the movie.
I mean, that's gonna be horrible, but yes, absolutely.
Have a few laughs.
Stop it. And discuss what the fuck we just watched. It's our first rom-com, what the fuckers.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. I can't believe that. That's nuts.
You're nuts.
Yeah, I think it's because I've seen most of them.
Yeah, this
Guys,
is our first one.
I am both appalled and incredibly excited about the fact that I have never seen this movie in its entirety until the other day, which was last night.
Yeah, it's pretty sad on your part.
I know. And I was telling Pants, I have seen this movie.
You just said
and
you
I
hadn't.
thought that, okay, well, give me a second to finish my sentence, Brian.
Well, don't be a liar.
I have seen this
Han
movie
Solo.
in bits and pieces. But I realized that I have always seen the same little clip. So the part that I was familiar with is whenever she's going to go shopping. And I've seen that on TV, but I never I didn't know how far into it was. And I don't like to start movies, not from the beginning. And I don't know why I never circled back to this. I've always heard it was a really great movie, but I had no idea I was going to be as moved as I was when watching it.
Yeah, luckily when we decided to do it, it popped up on, because I have an app on my phone that lets me know if iTunes movies go on sale.
Oh yeah.
And it popped up and I was like, oh, perfect, because it's not streaming anywhere. So yeah, got it for $5 on iTunes. I think it's still that. So
Yeah.
pick it up because it's not, surprisingly, not streaming anywhere. I thought it was, but
That's what I was telling you, is I could have sworn I had seen it on Netflix, but I might be crazy. So
yeah, I thought I had saw it on HBO Max, but guess not.
yeah.
So
Either way, thank you for your investment.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
And my viewing pleasure.
Yes. So that's, again, why I like doing this show. Because I don't know how I would have just randomly gotten you to watch Pretty Woman.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I probably would have, but I might have. I don't even think that I would have
It would have
protested.
been
It
2 months away that you would have actually watched it.
Yeah, probably.
Or watched 5 minutes over a year-long period every day.
Man, I was hooked. Y'all, if you have not seen Pretty Woman, if you are on my old train, get the hell off at the next bus station and watch this movie. I said train and then buses.
Yep. Do trains go to bus stations?
They do now. No, I mean, fantastic movie. And I'm super into rom-coms. So I'm very, I just can't believe it's been, I am 30 years old and I've never seen this movie.
That's very sad.
That's crazy.
I saw this movie on VHS, I think with my mom.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, I love Richard Gere.
Yeah, surprisingly, I feel like my mom might like him because now that I'm thinking about it, I think he's in that movie with Jennifer Lopez, Shall We Dance?
Sounds
where
like
she's
something.
a dance instructor and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, he's done a lot of movies with Julia Roberts since this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to find all of them because I love their chemistry.
Yeah, they have good chemistry.
Yeah.
I did like it. But yeah, so this is our 90s week. So this movie did come out in 1990, so barely got there.
Maybe that's why I didn't watch it, is because I was born the year after.
Oh, maybe. I don't think that's anything to do with it. I was born the year before, so...
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's not an excuse. Anyway, it is starring Richard Gere, Julia Roberts, and Jason A. Alexander. And Jason Alexander. It is directed by Gary Marshall.
The budget for this film was $14 million, and it did gross in the U.S. and Canada $178.4 million. IMDb has it rated at 7. Rotten Tomatoes has a 64%, with an audience score of 68%, which, you know
Blasphemy.
what, is ridiculous.
Blasphemy.
That is not a fair score at all for this movie. As we previously said, it is not streaming anywhere, but it is absolutely 1000% worth the buy because you will watch it again.
Especially
Because
for $5.
I watched it again today, and then I listened to the audio for it again today 3 times.
Wow.
While I was working. It was great. Just
I'm glad
wonderful.
you got my money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I watched it once. Tina, what is the synopsis for Beautiful Lady?
What? All right, guys. The synopsis for Pretty Woman. A man in a legal but hurtful business needs an escort for some social events and hires a beautiful prostitute he meets, only to fall in love.
I hate
Why
the
does
pauses
it
you gave
only
that.
to? Because it says ...
Okay, I don't like it.
My initial thoughts on this movie, fantastic. What a great movie. Like I said before, the audacity to have not seen this and to have missed out. But again, I'm really excited that I hadn't gotten, the opportunity to watch it because now we can talk about it.
Indeed. As I said, I've seen this movie a few times, probably since I was too young to really grasp what it was. I just saw it as a rom-com. I didn't understand, the prostitute aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I've seen it as come into adulthood or whatever the fuck, to where I could actually understand it. But yeah, it's a great movie. The scores, the Rotten Tomato scores are bullshit.
Yeah,
so,
that seems really unfair.
yeah. I
Or
mean,
like
more like 3,000%.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Right, Johnny? I'd love it if you put that clip in. Let's bring it back.
No, Johnny has no business here. John Travolta did audition for Richard Gere's part
Oh my
in this
God,
movie.
no! Can
Yeah.
you imagine if he had gotten it?
I mean, it wouldn't have been good.
Oh,
No.
jeez. No, not at all. Pants.
Yeah.
Do you have a clip?
Well, I do, but I mean, I was also going to say, like, who else auditioned? Because that's not really a spoiler.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can.
Okay, great. Anyway. Harrison Ford also auditioned, otherwise known as Han Solo.
That would have been different. I really
Yeah.
like Richard Gere. But anyway.
Danny Glover, which would have been odd.
Yeah.
And John Hurd, the dad from Home Alone. So no. And Sean Connery actually did audition for the role. For real.
Really?
Yeah.
Sure, been like. Are you a prostitute? I have such a terrible Sean Connery
I love
impersonation,
Sean Connery impersonations, but that was so bad.
But I love how when everybody does it, they're just like.
I wish everyone could see your face. 'Cause you look so stupid.
Pretty woman. I can't do it. Moving on.
But there's one more that I saved for last.
Oh, God.
Of who
Terrified.
were considered to play.
Can you imagine Danny Glover in this movie?
I could not.
Oh, it would have been so different. Continue.
Bruce Campbell.
What? Oh, Bruce.
Cool movie. That would have been totally different. Bruce Campbell doesn't make anything but like B-list horror movies. Groovy.
I'm really trying to imagine, like, as much as I appreciate him, that would have been...
I mean, it wouldn't have been with Julia Roberts. It couldn't have been.
That would have been really strange.
Because like the only reason that Richard Gere actually took the role, because he initially turned it down, or he was going to, and like he was at a table with like the producers and everything, and Julia Roberts, and she like slipped him a post-it note that was like, please say yes, and so he did.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this was like her big like breakout. Like she had been in like Mystic Pizza, and which I've never seen Mystic Pizza.
Me neither. We should put it on the list.
Maybe. It just doesn't sound fun. What's the other one? Oh, Steal Magnolias. Like the year before this.
Yeah. Drink your juice.
Okay. But Bruce Campbell would have been wonderful.
Oh my God. I just can't imagine. It's like at the very end, he just looks at the screen.
Groovy. Yeah. That'd been awesome. But yeah, so those are our initial thoughts.
I'm so excited to get into it. Let's get into it.
Okay, well, shut up so I can play the trailer.
You got it.
All right.
Could you tell me how to get to Beverly Hills?
Sure. For $5.
You can't charge me for directions.
I can do anything I want to, baby. I am lost.
All right, okay. You have change for 20?
For 20, I'll show you person. Wow.
Impressed?
You kidding me? I come here all the time. Well, color me happy. There's a sofa in here for 2. Close your mouth, dear.
What is this girl? Does she work? She's in sales.
Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a
This
date
isn't a date, it's business.
that led to a deal.
I have a business proposition for you. I'm going to be in town until Sunday. I'd like you to spend the week with me.
That's becoming a dream come true.
Time to shop. Get rid of your gum.
All right.
I don't believe you did that. You're going to be spending an obscene amount of money in here. So we're going to need a lot more help sucking up to us because that's what we really like. You understand me?
Sir, if I may say so, you're in the right store and the right city, for that matter.
They're two people who have no business being together.
Everybody is trying to land him. Well, I'm not trying to land him. I'm just using him for sex.
Just doing a little business.
The company I'm buying this week, I'm getting for the bargain price of about $1 billion.
$1 billion? Your folks must be really proud, huh?
Everything was going their way
Well done!
Well done! Whoop, whoop, whoop!
until
I don't want you to go.
You hurt me.
Yes.
Don't do it again.
something unexpected happened.
What the hell is wrong with you this week?
I love a voiceover guy in trailers.
Yes. That's not a thing anymore.
I know we've been over this.
I
yes.
wish somebody would bring it back in a creative way. They would have to do something really special.
There's only so much you can do special for 3 minutes.
Yeah. This summer.
That's not special.
I suck it as far as the inflection of words go. Yeah. Sound more like Borat.
Wow.
Pretty woman. Anyways,
Just nailing the impressions.
I
today.
hate you.
So good.
I'm really bad at them. I just enjoy it. Sorry, I was thinking about what I wanted to say. So as I have previously said, this movie really took me by surprise. I did not know I was going to enjoy it so much. I love rom-coms, but there's something about the chemistry between Julia Roberts and Richard Gere that just brought magic to this movie. Especially considering, Julia Roberts was, a lot younger. I mean, I've seen her in a million movies now, but watching her in a role where she was young and just this, I can't think of any other movie where she plays anything even remotely close to a prostitute, but just that air of innocence, I guess, if you want to put it that way, because she's in a world that she's never been in before. I mean, this guy is loaded, and she's still very witty. That's, I think, the best part about the movie is just their tiny little exchanges of just intelligent humor.
Right. I agree. Their chemistry is amazing, and that's why they've done so many movies together. This is such a weird choice for being under the Disney banner.
Is it under the Disney banner?
It is. It's Touchstone Pictures, which is a Disney company.
Oh.
So
why doesn't Disney have it on there?
Probably because it's about a prostitute and it's rated R. And the whole thing is based on money for sexual companionship.
Did you ever see that going around where other countries have that option where they can turn off their filters for Disney Plus and they have access to all these other movies that are not rated PG and under?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, apparently, everywhere other than the United States, Disney Plus has a feature where it's automatically put in there so that, if your kids are watching it or whatever the case may be, they can't go past PG movies. But you can alter that to include all the other movies that are in that umbrella. So I wonder if this would fall into that. You just have to remove that filter.
Probably. I know that overseas, I think it's called a Star Network or something that that has Disney Plus in it. I don't understand it really, but they get vastly different movies than we do. But I think it's all in distribution rights within the US. So like, I mean, I guess I don't even know where the rights are right now because it's not streaming anywhere. So, but yeah, this would not fit on Disney Plus at all.
It's okay, you bought it, so I'm happy about it.
Indeed. So it starts off with Richard Gere pretty much breaking up with his current girlfriend over the phone, and he takes his lawyer's car, which is this really nice for 1990 Lotus. I mean, it's still a nice car now. It kind of looks like a DeLorean.
Yeah.
He's going down Hollywood Boulevard, doesn't know how to drive stick, and he has no idea where he's going, and that's where he meets Vivian, who is Julia Roberts. And
I love that he never even really stopped for her, but he's on that same area where they're, you know.
Yeah, and she, as you heard in the trailer, you know, he asks for directions, and that's just kind of how they meet. She gets in the car. She ends up driving the car because he can't.
Lovely. I screamed a little bit inside, not out loud. But whenever he was like, "You're gonna drive," I was like, "This movie is already badass." He just picked up a prostitute on the side of the road and is letting her drive his car.
That's not his car.
Well, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Driving fucking Philip's car, who can, honestly, that's fine.
Yeah, he's a jackass.
He is a mega douche.
But it always bugged me, and I always forget about it until I watch it again. But I hate her first outfit choice in this. Like, she just looks so ridiculous. And
I think they had to make it kind of extreme for you to see the change.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, even the other girls, like, they weren't that like extravagant with like the blue and the white kind of tied together in the middle. And
I think that also, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that also played a little bit into kind of her reveal, right? So thus far, we haven't really seen a lot of her body. I'm not trying to make this about her body, but
I mean, we see a lot of
essentially
it.
that's kind of what it was, right? That was the moment where she took off her jacket, like she's going, you know, to work, and you finally get to look at her and you're like, okay, bitch, like, you a fox. Okay. I mean, like, we all know that about Julia Roberts, but that was the moment, I think, for them to really like showcase that. It's like, oh, you have that under there. Okay.
I mean, probably not at the time. They didn't know that. Like, she hadn't really done much to showcase what she's got.
Sure, yes.
I mean, we know that now. She hasn't aged like at all. Neither of them have.
God, I love
it's
her.
ridiculous.
Yes.
He ends up taking her back to his Playboy suite at the top of the penthouse. Yeah, I don't know why I said Playboy.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Penthouse is another, or Playboy is another dirty magazine. So is Penthouse. So maybe that's why. But anyway, and the whole thing is she charges $100 an hour for whatever, and he offers her $300 to stay the night.
Well, she said, he asks her,
right? Okay,
how much would it be for you to stay with me, because clearly your time is important to you,
right? And she just says 300, and I mean, I have a lot of problems with her math, or her like self-evaluation. Like, I did the math last night, because like,
good,
it ends up being, you know, it escalates from staying overnight to staying for 6 days, 6 nights. And the price they settle on is $3,000 for 6 days, 6 nights. Plus, I guess, the clothes and everything that he ends up buying her. $3,000, mind you, was the original name of the movie before it was changed to Pretty Woman. It was just called 3,000.
That would have been stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It probably wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been
as catchy.
Yeah. It would have worked had you seen the movie, but Pretty Woman, you know, it comes along with the song that everybody knows and everything like that. But anyway, my issue is just either how bad her math is, or how much she's undercutting her worth and or her skills. Because 6 days, 6 nights, and they mentioned 24 hours, so that's all. It's not like a shift.
Right.
It should have been, or a little over $14,000 had they stayed with
the $100
an hour. So I don't know if he's just buying her a shit ton of clothes to make up for that, which is possible.
Very possible.
But I just think $3,000 for a whole week of possible like sexing is pretty cheap. And she should go back to the drawing board on that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, no.
I think she was just in awe. If you kind of look at it in her perspective, like, I don't think she ever thought she was going to get picked up by a millionaire and then tell him you can't afford it, say $300, and he's like, yep, you know? And I think it was just kind of...
Probably just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus she got to watch I Love Lucy.
And another movie that I don't know what it was, because we came in on the end of it, and it said the end.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know what that was. But she does love her some Lucy.
Yes. I also am obsessed with her laugh. Like, I think that Julia Roberts just has such an infectious laugh, and I don't know her personally, but every time I see her, I feel that she has the ability to just light up a room with her energy, I think is what I'm kind of reading. And so there is that moment where she's laying on the floor and she's watching I Love Lucy and she's just enjoying herself and kind of laughing. It was so beautiful. Like, that moment was just, you know, that's something that we do all the time, right? Especially if you have a significant other, and if you don't, I'm really sorry. But I'm sure you've shared this moment with someone, right? Where you just kind of look over at them and it's such an incredible feeling to catch somebody looking at you. Right? Like, admiring you. And so it was really sweet to see him adjust his position where he was sitting so that he could watch her expressions as she was watching the TV. Like, he really enjoyed watching her live her... What is that expression? Why isn't it...
Live your best life.
Live her best life. I don't know where it went. It just went whoop, out of my brain. But anyways... And the movie is just filled with so many moments like that where they both experience such growth when they first encountered one another. Like, Julia Roberts had a respect for herself, but I don't think that she envisioned that she could get out of the hole that she was in, right? She even said that she's just chased bumps her whole life. And, you know, Richard Gere's character is just this, like, nasty businessman who... I mean, we're going to say it. He takes advantage of companies that are falling apart so that he can profit off of them. And towards the end, you see that he realizes that there could be a better relationship if he does things a little differently. Like, she brought that out of him, I feel. Right.
I mean, his character is even... I mean, it's definitely her movie to me.
Yeah.
I mean, she is the titular pretty woman, and I don't think that's him. But he's a really, like, well-rounded character. Like, he's really well written. You understand that, you know, he's 24/7 business.
Yep.
As you said, he swoops in and buys up these companies that are falling apart, and he just, like, picks them apart even more and sells them off and makes a profit. And, you know, he has this sleazy ass lawyer, and, you know, he's never had to hold himself accountable, I guess. Like, he doesn't have a relationship with his dad, and who's dead now, I guess last month is what he said. It looks like he just doesn't really have, you know, respect for the women in his life. Like, he speaks to, I think, his ex-wife, and, you know, asked if she talks to his secretary more than she talked to him.
Yeah.
And she said, well, yeah, she was a bridesmaid at my wedding. So, I mean, the women in his life don't have good relationships with him.
Yep.
Because his business always comes first. And it just kind of takes her coming in and being completely, I don't want to say naive to everything, but she's just kind of like this... She has like this childlike wonder about everything and sees him through a different lens than these other women. She
surprises him. Like, he says it in the movie, you know, not a lot of people surprise me. There's that scene where they're in the bathroom. This is when he's taken her up to the hotel. It's that very first night. And she's in the bathroom and she's about to floss. We don't know that at the time. But he, like, opens the door and is like, hey, I didn't hear you. What'd you say? And she hides it really quickly behind her back. I don't know that she was necessarily, like, embarrassed, but she's on a job. And so I don't think that she wanted
Yeah.
you know,
it's
him
not like
to
the
see her
sexiest
do
thing to
right.
see. Right.
And I love that she said, you know, like when he realizes his dental floss, she's, you know, saying that she has the seeds of the strawberries in her teeth. She's like, you really shouldn't neglect your gums. Like for someone to say that. And, you know, it's little things like that where I don't think that he thought that she was as deep as she is.
Yeah. Like I think the common conception of sex workers and everything is that, you know, they don't have an education. They're, you know, doing this because they can't do anything else, which is, you know,
sometimes true.
Right. And that they're probably not educated, that they're, you know, and things like that, like taking care of your gums and just showing that you care about yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas like, again, conception of sex workers is that they just, you know, they're selling their bodies to other people and they don't care about themselves.
Well, yeah, if you look at sex workers in the movie industry, they paint them in a really negative light.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now that we're so, you know, socially connected with all of these different groups and different platforms and things like that, you know, we're learning that women are sex workers who, you know, are going to school to get their masters or their bachelors or whatever the case may be. And like, this is just how they, you know, pave their way.
Yeah.
But I also really liked the way that they painted sex workers in this movie. And I don't know if it's offensive to everybody. And if it is, please email me, let me know. I'm all about being educated. But it was a different light. Exactly what we're talking about, right? She was so much deeper than just the surface. And he actually saw that. And we got to see that as an audience. I think that was also really powerful because we saw her go from the low, like a low point in her life where she felt like she couldn't reach out to anybody. And look at her now. She was talking about going back to school and moving to a different area and trying to better herself. And, you know, I loved that.
Yeah. I don't know if I just hadn't given it thought or not, but the term hooker is so outdated. It hit really weird because they used it instead of prostitute. I think
Philip did.
Right, but even Richard Gere did.
Oh, he did. Yeah, towards the end, she's like, a hooker. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I think they said prostitute once, but they just kept referring to her as a hooker. And I was like, I mean, I guess, yeah, but you know, it nowadays, I don't know, it just seems like that term has been kind of replaced.
I'm glad because I don't know.
And it felt dirty.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's probably just less syllables, so people like to just say hooker versus prostitute. I don't, you know how like people, I mean, everyone does that now. Like, oh God, great.
Yeah, think of one.
We shorten everything. LOL, you know, WYD or whatever. I can't just roll with it. But I don't know. All I know is when the word hooker came out of their mouth, it shocked me a little bit. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off very good.
Right. There's not really any for a movie about this subject matter. It's really like tastefully done, right? There's not nudity, right?
Yeah,
I can't think of any.
I can't think of any. There were like scenes where it was obviously really romantic, and they were kind of all on top of each other, like the piano scene, which, by the way, chef's kiss. But no, I don't think I ever saw.
I mean, there's not even really
anything.
Like grinding or
nope.
It's mostly just
implied.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most risque parts was almost the very beginning when she's driving. He says something about the gear shift being pretty stiff, and like she reaches over and like grabs his junk, and she's like, "Well, no, not yet, but it has potential."
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of like the most risque thing. Like, there's not a lot of F-bombs.
No.
It's mostly just, it's probably just rated R because of the subject matter,
right?
And the occasional F-bombs,
It's funny
I guess.
that they put this in the same category as some movies that are rated R.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
What?
Yeah, the R rating is so, I don't know if diverse is the right word, but it's just really, it's a wide
They're like, if this
range.
offends multiple people, then we're just gonna put it in this category with with all the others.
Yeah. Like this is
The others.
This is just like Saw and Hostel.
Exactly. So a lot of,
Body parts.
Yeah.
Maiming.
I have to talk about the really adorable scene where she's taking a bath.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bubble bath, so you don't see her or anything like that. And Richard Gere's character is on the phone, and he just comes in, and she has her Walkman, which, oh my God, nostalgia. It was really funny because I saw something the other day about, when your Walkman used to skip, and so you'd have to, people would, tape them down or whatever. No one will know those struggles that, didn't have a Walkman.
Well, this was a cassette Walkman.
Was it a cassette? I thought it was a CD. Maybe I didn't look that hard.
Yeah, it was a cassette.
Oh, God, that makes it even better.
1990. I don't think she would really have a CD player.
You're right.
She can't even pay rent.
Okay. And I loved her headphones because that's, so cute. Anyways, and so she's in the tub and she's singing Prince and it's super off key, but it's so great. She's really relaxed. She has no shame. She's just doing her thing, and I love that moment where she opens her eyes and she sees him, and it's not one of those embarrassed things. She chuckles because she's like, okay, you saw it, Oh, it was just, God, this movie is so good in so many ways.
I wondered, and this is something I did not catch until this time around, but I wondered if the song choice of what she was listening to and singing was purposeful, because she was singing Kiss from Prince. And I think a few scenes before that, they had gone over how she doesn't kiss.
On the mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's too personal. Mm-hmm. So with none of her clients does she kiss. And I just wondered if that had anything to do with that, or if it was just a fun song choice or not. I don't know.
Both.
Sure. But there is... I was watching... the Movies That Made Us a few weeks ago, and they have a Pretty Woman one.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that next. Great.
They showed how during the filming of that bathtub scene, there was one take where she was underwater and everybody left the room, and she just came up to nobody being there, and they were still filming. It was very cute. She's very cute. I like Julia Roberts.
Were they playing a prank on her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. No, they didn't just
I was like, what? They just left her down there.
They just forgot she was there. Yeah. But
she's wonderful.
Yeah. This doesn't really have anything to do with the movie in particular, but just bathtub scenes in general. The scene later on in the movie where they're in the tub together, and he's just kind of laying on her, on her torso, he's leaning back. He just looks really uncomfortable. His chest is just kind of poked out, and I mean, I don't know if you've ever bathed with somebody or been in that position, but it's not comfortable, and it doesn't even look comfortable. And I've never seen it done in a movie where I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. Whoever is laying on the other person always is in this really weird position, and it just doesn't look romantic.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even putting soap on him. She was just
I think
squirting water on him.
it depends, because if you really lean into the person behind you, it's not that bad. I guess it also depends, because there's so many variations of tubs. So I think if you're in the right tub, you can prop your feet and then it's fine. But
seems like you would have to be in a hot tub for that.
I mean, you're also really tall, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not that tall.
Sure.
She is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a stray observation.
I do want to say that I wasn't sure what I was walking into as far as where they were going to go with her being a sex worker, but...
You mean a hooker?
God. It's that very first night that they're together again. I just keep circling back to that. But he looks over at her. It's the same scene with the I Love Lucy. And then, it's that look. Mm-hmm. And she comes over, whatever. I really thought that he was going to stop her from giving him a blowjob. And then I was like, oh, never mind. We're dealing with men. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's just pondering while she's initially doing her thing. And I don't know. I really thought he was going to stop her, and he didn't. But
I think it would have been weird if they didn't do anything.
I guess you're right.
I mean, he is paying her.
I mean, true. I don't know. I guess you're absolutely right. Their relationship hadn't really gone anywhere yet.
Right.
But the next morning, the fact that he ordered just like one thing off of, or
one of everything on
one
the
of
menu.
everything off the menu. Yeah.
That was cute. And seeing her like actual like hair down like for the first time.
That was so cool.
It was so nice.
I mean, you totally know that they like put her in that position because her hair looks incredible.
She's like a mermaid.
Laying on the bed. I know she comes out, she still looks stunning, but that moment where he like pokes his head in, he realizes that she was wearing a wig and sees her for the first time. She looked amazing. I would have been like, yep, as well, Richard.
Okay. Wow. As a woman, Tina, how would one go about getting all that hair under that wig?
So I was also thinking the same thing. I mean, it's absolutely possible, especially if you have a hair cap. But if you are looking at her wig, it peaks a little bit. And I think that's where she hid all of it. But yeah, with the way things have changed now, you can absolutely put your hair down and put that wig over it. But I don't think she went to that extreme, which is why it looked really fake.
Yeah, like I was when I was watching the beginning, I was trying to like figure it out because I mean I knew what was under there.
Yeah.
And I knew how much of it was under there.
Yeah.
And she just has like, it looks like really thick curly hair.
Oh yeah.
And you know, given the wig choice that's platinum blonde, I was expecting to see something like poking out the bottom or
Yeah, she's great at her job. I love that she said that she had forgotten when she woke up where she was, and Richard Gere was like, occupational hazard. Like, there's a lot of little one-liners in the movie that are so good, and that one made me laugh, because I was like, yeah. Although, honestly, if it was anybody else, I'd imagine as soon as she's done, she's out.
True. I do want to mention the bellman manager of the hotel, I guess it was, Mr. Thompson.
So invested.
He's wonderful.
Yes.
He was such a kind human.
Oh my gosh. I love how he was trying to introduce himself to... Oh my... I need to stop calling him Richard. He was trying to introduce himself to Edward. And, you know, he went above and beyond. He did not have to help her at all. And I don't think he was necessarily fishing for anything, but he just wanted to say, you know, like, yeah, I'm the manager. I'm really glad that you're enjoying, you know, your experience here or whatever.
Right.
And Edward just like, he's gone. But I love how invested the hotel was in her, like, development. Because you'll notice, when she first walks into the hotel, everybody is, like, big-eyed looking at her. She even goes to the extreme of, like, talking about her pantyhose in front of that couple.
Lack of pantyhose.
Pantyhose in front of that couple. And then she leaves with just like class, and everybody is like, wow, you know?
Like the first time she walks back in after shopping was just totally like a diva moment.
Wow.
She looked amazing.
Yes.
Like she had all the Bellman helping her, and like, you know, they have all the bags and she's just like walking through, like, you know,
she owns the place.
Right. And it's just, you know, this really tight white dress thing.
Yes.
And
this beautiful hat.
Yeah, this black really big rimmed hat.
Yes.
It looks so good.
Oh my God. I think that the moral of the podcast is that we love Julia Roberts.
Yes. And Nicolas Cage. Maybe he should have been Edward.
I love that whenever she's doing the shopping, first of all, I love that the manager sent her to go meet Bridget, which was the woman that helped her, because she was so kind in the best way. She, like there was nothing rude about it. She was like, this is the person that I'm supposed to be helping, but she was also, you know, like, oh, please don't do that, you know, like, but it wasn't ugly or anything like that. And I love how Julia Roberts' character was like, you know, he's not really my uncle. And as they're walking up the stairs, Bridget's like, they never are, dear. Yeah. Like, people have been referred to me quite a bit.
But no, whoever the costume designer on this movie was, like, chef's kiss, A+.
Yes.
Like, they knew how to dress Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Like, with the exception of the first outfit, which again, it's purposeful.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, the white dress we just mentioned, the red dress that
Yes.
when they go to the fancy dinner thing.
Yes.
And
Was it red or was it like blue or black? That very first one she wore, it was dark.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but it was
I know the
darker,
red dress you're talking about because it was
and even
great.
like the one where they went to the polo match, the polka dot one.
Yes.
Like that gets mentioned in the Movies That Made Us. They wanted to find a dress that really brought out her hair. And they had to make that. They only had like a certain amount of fabric to make it, so they had like an extra like scrap left over, so they just like wrapped it around her hat to make it go together,
like a full ensemble.
Yeah, but yeah, she looked amazing.
Yes.
And the piano scene, you know, the little
she was in a robe.
Yeah, she was in a robe, but underneath the black nighty looking thing. Amazing.
Dude, there's even a scene where she's in a white, like, long dress.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. This movie, like, everything about it was so good. Like, exactly like you said. Costume design was on point. Their banter was on point. Casting was on point. Like, all of their little, you know, cuts and ways that they chose to push everything together was, I mean, this movie is absolutely not 64% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, fuck all that.
But I love that Richard Gere also says, you know, that I don't know that that's necessarily exactly why he picked her up, but he does at one point mention that they both screw people for money.
Yeah. It's, you know, as you mentioned in the beginning, he didn't even mean to pick her up. Like,
right.
that's not what he went there for.
Right.
But they do have that in common.
I just said white. Like,
Instead of right?
Said white, yeah.
Wow.
I also love that he was playing the piano before she got there.
Oh, yeah, that was really him playing. He wrote that piece for the movie.
Oh, my God. Yes, Richard. And the opera, like taking her to the opera and seeing her become emotional. Okay, where was it? I don't know. I don't know exactly where it is, but she's leaning over the balcony. She's super into the performance that's going on. And she has this genuine Julia Roberts smile on her face. And I melted. Like, she just seems like she'd be such an amazing human being. Like, can we go get coffee if you ever hear this? Like, I will buy you. Oh, which one do I like better? I don't like Starbucks. We'll find a coffee place in Houston. I can guarantee you there's a really good one somewhere.
Sure.
And we'll talk about this movie. And all of your other accomplishments because you are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just text her. We're friends.
Oh, okay.
I'll introduce you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Did you read anything about the opera that they saw?
I did not.
So it's called, I'm going to butcher it, but La Traviata?
Okay.
Traviata?
I don't think if you add any weird things to it, it's going to be correct. Continue.
La Traviata.
La Traviata.
La Traviata.
I don't know.
I hadn't done that one
Don't do
yet.
that. We're going to offend people.
La Traviata.
La Traviata.
Indeed. So, one of those is right.
I'm going to suck your blood. That is
La
what
Traviata.
La Traviata. Sorry, get to your
Nailed
point.
it. All right. So it's actually an opera about a prostitute who falls in love with a wealthy man.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow. Way to sneak that one in there.
Sneaky.
Snake a snack. What happened to that guy?
Probably nothing. Hopefully he found a snake.
I'm a snack. No, he was a snake.
Oh, he was a snake.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody found him. But yeah, in the opera scene, I just thought it was really cute that, you know, she is like dressed in like the red formal everything. She has like the, what's it, $250,000 necklace and earrings on, and that was actually worth that amount. I don't know if that was in the Movies That Made Us or if I read that, but they actually had a security person on set following them with that jewelry because it was worth that money.
Dang.
But you know, and at the end, the old woman asked her, you know, did you enjoy the opera, dear? And she was like, it was so good, I almost peed my pants. And Richard Gere was like, you know, she loved it. I forget what he actually says, but you know, I like that she's changed, but she's still like herself at the core.
Right.
Like she's just a more refined version of herself.
Yes.
Like with some etiquette.
Which is so refreshing.
Indeed. You should do that.
God, I really don't like you. But, in the end, I think that they both, more Edward's character, I think it was really hard for him because, it was, obviously, but it was very hard for him to separate.
Has potential to be.
It took me a second. It was difficult for him to not see this as a business transaction, right?
Yeah.
And even in the beginning, he continues to mention it a couple times. Like, I think she says something, along the lines of, I'm going to treat you so good this week, baby, you're going to never want to leave. Mm-hmm. And he's like, $3,000, and at the end of the week, I will leave. Oh, I don't know. Just watching her kind of be strong, right? This is an ideal situation for somebody like her. Mm-hmm. If she wasn't emotionally invested. He is going to put her in an apartment and have, her be that person that continues to escort him or whatever the case may be. And she finds it within herself to say, no, like, I want more out of this. I'm better than, or this relationship could be better than this. Mm-hmm. And so, no, I'm not doing it.
She doesn't take the money. Like,
oh my God, it broke me.
Like, whenever she was,
That's that first time that they get into a fight.
Well, it's towards the end. Right. And no, because he chases her. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they get into a fight and she's just like, I'm out of here. And it was when she found out that he had told Philip about her being a prostitute. And she just got mad about it because, Philip came on to her. He drops the money on the bed and he's like, fine, go. And she doesn't take it. And he ends up, chasing her to the elevator and bringing her back. She is saying that, she's in love with him. Mm-hmm. And, they end up kissing on the mouth. And do you notice Richard Gere's either, like, he doesn't have, like, lounge clothes?
Yeah, he's always in
a suit or naked.
Yeah, but I think that's because he doesn't really sleep. She mentions that. So I think he's
like,
just
even
always...
on, like, his day off, when they just go, like, to the park, he's in, like, a full-blown suit.
Well, I think that's also because she made him take the day off, so he was ready to go to work.
Okay.
But it also cuts back on costume designs because I'm sure she was very expensive.
This is true. True.
I love that he was afraid of heights, and yet he had to climb the fire escape to get to her at the end of it. That was so freaking cute. It was so freaking cute. And just, there's so much that's good about this movie. I do want to backtrack just a hair, not to bring up something really negative, but how horrifying that Philip came on to her like that when she's almost in a trance. I don't really know if that's the right way to put it, but she's been in this position for a week, not having to think about her being a sex worker. Like, she's genuinely having a good time with Edward. Mm-hmm. And then for his little sleazy ass to come up to her and say something like
married.
that. Yeah. I honestly think he was trying to get something out of her, if that makes sense. Like, so he could turn it around and be like, she's not what you think she is or whatever to Edward. Which fails because Julia Roberts is the best. It was so terrible. And then when they're in the apartment and she's like, he'll be home soon, and he's like, this isn't your home, and then he like attacks her. I mean, thank God Edward, got there as quickly as he did, because I almost broke my TV trying to defend my friend Julia.
And I mean, just so we can have it mentioned that it's adorable, but the part everybody knows of this movie is when she comes out in the red dress and she's ready to go to this fancy dinner thing. He brings out a jewelry box and opens it for her and shows the diamond earrings and necklace, and she goes to touch it and he snaps it shut and it just like scares her, and it's just this really adorable moment, and it's like genuine laughter. That wasn't scripted. He did that, and so her reaction was genuine.
Oh, that's why it's so good.
And they, of course, kept it in. They didn't film anything else after that. But that part is, I mean, it's so like iconic for this movie.
Yeah.
And it's been like spoofed and redone and a bunch of different things. The Sweetest Thing is what I remember spoofing it.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but
yeah,
yes.
I remember that happening in it, and it's really funny in The Sweetest Thing with Cameron Diaz, because they do it, they snap it shut, and she just starts like laughing like maniacally. It's just so like over the top, but it's great.
I was not ready for it. Well, okay, so I was aware that happened in the movie. Mm-hmm. I've seen a million memes about it. But I was so invested in the story and just following along with it that it hadn't even occurred to me that might be where that scene is. Mm-hmm. And so when it happened, it caught me off guard. So I genuinely laughed with it because I was like, oh, that's that scene. That was so cute. Like it was so great because I was almost a little afraid that I was going to get ruined on it. But I mean, watching the movie was such an experience. You know those movies that you wish that you had the opportunity to see for the first time again?
Lost.
This would be it. Because last night, I mean, I cried. Like, it was a really...
Tina cries for everything.
I do. I was like, let me just backtrack and say that movies make me cry. But it's because I was so invested in watching the story and like, oh, my eyes are getting watery. See, I do cry. I was so good. And I love knowing that was a genuine reaction mm-hmm. because that makes a lot of sense. It was perfect. It was perfect.
I mean, anybody, even people, you know, as you just said, people who haven't even seen this movie know that part.
Yeah.
And it's just so like ingrained in pop culture now. I remember... I think this is the only personal anecdote I'll give from here on out, but I was working at a vet clinic years ago, and one of the doctors was showing me something, and it was in I don't remember what it was in, but it was something that could snap, like close, like that jewelry box. And she was showing it to me, and like I went to like grab it, and she closed it, and like it was just an automatic, like I did the laugh, like just really over the top, like I threw my head back, and we were on the same page, and she was like, I'm glad that we're on the same page, because everybody was like, what the fuck are you doing? But anytime I see or think of that part of the movie, I remember that it was a good time.
Was it?
No,
because that would have been great.
No, it was at.
I love it.
Yeah,
you can.
That seems like a Dr. Kiss thing to do, though.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I love those moments in real life where two people have that same, wavelength, and they're on that same page, and you do something and they still play into it, and you can keep it going for as long as it takes for somebody to laugh, right? But I think that's what's really great about our friendship too, is that you and I
was about to say that's us.
Yeah,
to an annoying
like you
point.
To
everybody else.
You and I are like, I think that it's key phrases and key words, and we have a lot of really similar things, and so we immediately flock to those things that make us laugh, and so we start diving into it, and those moments are so great. I love sharing those.
Say it
out loud.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime I hear the phrase "say it," I can hear you going out loud. I hate Twilight.
Whenever people do it, like they're like, I don't know. I can't think of an example, but anytime it does happen and somebody goes, say it or whatever, and I'm like, out loud. And people look at me like I'm strange, which I am.
It's like, what bitch you ever seen Twilight?
I know.
It's not good, but you should watch that part.
And then I can't really talk about it because they're like, what are you? And then you can't explain that to someone. So you're just like, oh, I thought you said something else. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. I would say, other than you and I, me and my cousin have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both to an annoying point.
Yes.
But
yeah, she's very quick on it too. And I think, again, it's because we just all have that. we have that chemistry.
Yeah, and we all are kind of on the same like mentality level. Like
we're smart
maturity.
but really stupid.
Her not so much because she's very smart.
Oh yeah. Anyways, back to
the movie. But yes, did you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is highly recommended. I really don't have anything negative to say about it.
No.
It's kind of long.
I started watching this movie at like 9:40 last night.
Don't do that.
Didn't go to bed till midnight. Way worth it.
Oh yeah, it's totally worth it. I would just say,
I saw an hour and 59 and I said, oh, okay, 30 minutes. And I put a timer on. And then when my timer went off, I was like, I am so invested. I can't turn this off. And then another 30 minutes. And
yeah, I was originally, I started watching it around 7. And I was planning on stopping at, no, sorry. I started watching it at 8. And I was going to stop at 9 just so I could wind down and go to bed at 10. And no, I watched the whole thing. So I was like, I even had it paused at one point. I was like, this is a good stopping point. And then I was like, nah.
I couldn't find one.
I mean, no, there isn't one.
I didn't want to stop.
But yeah, anyway, can't stream it, but go buy it. It's wonderful.
Yes, very good.
Everybody loves a pretty woman. That's why nobody loves Tina. Next.
Wow.
Tina.
Yes, pants.
Scale of 1 to 10. What do you give Pretty Woman?
9. The only reason I don't do a 10 is because there are a couple things that bothered me. They weren't enough to make this movie bad, but it's a solid, like, we're going to actually go with 9.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will go with 8.5.
Cool.
Because I'm just not, like, super into rom-coms, but it's a wonderful movie.
I love rom-coms.
And it's a classic.
It really is.
It's, it has that, like, amount of rom-com cheesiness, especially the very end. I mean, it was good. It was cute, but also, like, roll my eyes a little bit. But it's still, like, I recommend to everybody, if you haven't seen it, to watch it at least, once.
Yeah, I've seen this script played out hundreds of times in movies, and I've never seen a movie executed as well as this one.
You seen a rich man, like, make over a prostitute in a bunch of scripts?
Not in that sense. I'm talking about two people of different statures or different classes coming together.
I see.
Like, what is your problem? God.
So that's her.
Yeah, now I know.
Yeah, great. So, if you haven't already, be sure that you are subscribed via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere podcasts can be found. So can we. Be sure you do.
Find us there.
Rate and review us on fuck me. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really does help people to find the show. The star rating is super important, but the actual review rating is equally, if not a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, people can know we don't suck.
Absolutely. You can follow us on Twitter at WTF Did I Watch Pod, Instagram at WTF Did I Just Watch Pod. I know it gets confusing, guys. It's all right. Also, please email us your questions, inquiries, affirmations,
questions and inquiries
aren't
the same thing.
Complimations
isn't even a word, but we'll love to read them.
At WTF Did I Just Watch Pod at gmail.com.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And next week, with it being the first week of the month, we will be back in the 60s.
Yeah.
So the movie we have chosen is 1968's 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Yes.
Which Tina has never seen, and I am so like on the fence about her even watching it.
You put it on the list.
I know, because I think everybody should watch it, but whether you're gonna like it is a completely other thing. Like, we might have to be on drugs to watch it.
That can be arranged. If
LSD.
it is as bad, no, that cannot be arranged. If it is as bad as the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh, it's not.
Okay, well then we're fine. Because I had to watch that on 3-speed.
Okay. No, this is not that bad. And
Okay.
it's not Battlefield Earth bad. But
Cool. It's just long.
it's very long and it's a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful week.
Indeed.
And everybody.
And then a great week leading into Friday where you get to hang out with us again.
Yes.
Indubitably.
Dubes. Bye, everyone.
Hasta la pasta, baby.
La Traviata.
La Traviata. Sean Connery. See you next week, everybody.
That's so bad.
Sure.
Can you do it, Christopher Walken? I love
Oh,
I love
God.
impressions of him too.
I need to hear him for me to even attempt to, because
maybe.
he's like
Yeah.
all over the place. Like he's just like he the way that he puts his inflection on his words is like and I can't fucking do it. No,
It's like Moira Rose level, like weird inflections.
I can do this one though. You got to get out of here.
Okay, that wasn't anybody we've discussed. Well,
The
you
governor
can
of-
work on the
I was-
Christopher Walken for next week.
Oh, you got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Goodbye, everyone.